the essence of basketball. I don't know if you can be a basketball player without experience.
What's up? What's up? 1 2 1 2 1 2. We are live, people. B-Ball Radio. Whoa, 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 whoa. My name is Bobbito, Garcia, aka Cool Bob Love. And on the West,
Coach E. Eric Newman checking in. Iced coffee is proper. And we are ready for B-Ball Radio.
E, I got to give you props. You've gotten a lot better at coming in right on, like, on some Run DMC. Like, haha, say what? Like, you know, before when we first started the show, like, you was a little slow. I was giving you, like, that, you know, that alley, and you wasn't finishing, you know, but now, like, your timing is much better. You've been working on your hops. Good.
You try to say my tape delay is no longer delayed.
Yo, we have a special guest in the house. None other than basketball tutor, aka ZuTeam on IG, aka Vaughn Anderson, aka trainer, voiceover talent, a creator. Vaughn, what's good, B? How's everything?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, man.
Fam, why you got a scarf on you? You have a throat cold? Like, what's good?
They said it was going to be 78 degrees today. I came in this morning. It's like all I found is scarf sitting on the chair. I just grabbed it and threw it on, bro. I get cold a little easy. I don't know.
Well, this is Eric. This is the mark of a true voiceover talent. You know, he's got to keep his throat warm so that his vocal cords. Let me do a proper.
He's got sponsors with different tea brands, doesn't he?
Right,
got to get the herbal right.
He winced when he saw your iced coffee. He was like, "Yo, why you got coffee up in here, man? Let me get my peppermint tea on."
There you go.
Vaughn, for our audience, is a cat who I've been watching for a few years now. You know, being on Instagram mostly. You know, early on with like sort of like tutorials. Yo, this is how you dribble, and you would be out there with, you know, with young children or with young adults, you know, teaching them how to play the game. Yeah. And that's when you were a basketball tutor. And then at some point you kind of transitioned into ZuTeam. I would love to find out what that means, but basically you've been doing voiceover work, you know, adding your little play-by-plays or, you know, just funny stuff to amazing basketball footage. Eric, I don't know if you've seen some of his more popular ones, but I mean, you know, you have views up in the millions at this point. Yeah. And you know, who knows that you work 9 to 5, you know?
Yeah, just a regular Joe, man, out here trying to make it, man.
Well, how did you embark on this journey of, like, what post sort of helped you decide to transition to doing sort of creative voiceovers as opposed to the I'm in the park teaching someone how to do a spin dribble?
Yeah. Well, it started with a post I made for Booger. It kind of happened by accident, man. I was watching Soul in the Hole, and I'm like, yo, these highlights are incredible with Booger. And
yes, Ed Booger Smith, for our audience, playground legend. Eric, did you ever play against him?
Did not.
Yeah, I did. He had like 20 assists on me, and his boy, his boy Hammer scored 50. Honestly, Booger could have had 50 on me. I couldn't stay in front of him. It was just too quick. But he's a playground legend, and Soul in the Hole came out, I think, in 1997. Yeah. It's a phenomenal documentary that kind of followed the pantheon of basketball documentaries after Hoop Dreams came out. Right. And a worthwhile watch for anyone. But anyway, I'm sorry. It's just we try to make our episodes, you know, educational for even our younger listeners. You know, you could say Booger, and me and Eric know who you're talking about, but you know, 17-year-old in Nebraska may not. Why is he talking about his boogers?
Yeah, Booger Smith, man, Brooklyn.
Context is key. Context is key.
Yes.
So I made.
So then what happened? So you posted about Booger.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, you know, I got to kind of talk over this to kind of explain, you know, who Booger is, just the same way you just said, you know. And I wasn't even trying to, style or anything like that. It was just regular, some light conversational things I said over, and the video ended up going viral. And one of my goals from the start of this whole thing, when I started Basketball Tutor, I did want to, go viral, get a lot of views and things like that. So when the thing happened with the Booger post, I was like, I knew the formula was to kind of just keep doing it again. You know what I mean? Find that the same thing that worked. I just kept going with it, and then it started blowing up a little bit.
So a lot of similarities here. Teaching the game,
Yeah.
storytelling around the game.
Yeah.
What do you? How does one play into another for you?
Oh wow. It's all kind of one.
Great
big-
question by Eric Newman with the serious and insights.
Where are my bifocals?
He is the Ben Franklin of B-Ball Radio.
I mean, for me, when I started, I was, doing a personal training with my son. He's the original Hezzy God. I don't know if you heard about the new Hezzy God that's out now, but I think that he got that name from my son. So
Mouthpiece is the announcer at Venice Beach, BBL, and he's the one who gave Ryan, who's a former football player at a HBCU, who has a fantastic basketball game as well.
Yeah.
And he became Hezzy God. But shout out to your son. Is your son still playing?
Nah, not really. He's like a senior in high school, going to college. He kind of fell off after COVID.
Got you. Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail Eric's question. Go back to that.
So yeah, it was just with him, filming his highlights, doing videos. I just kind of put some soul into it, man, with the music, and that's just kind of my thing. I was raised around a lot of musicians, DJs, and stuff like that, and it just kind of fits naturally into what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So it just all came together.
What has been the post that you've had that has shocked you the most in terms of the feedback, and comments and shares and all that?
I guess
like the post that you didn't expect. I mean, obviously the Booger post you didn't expect that it was going to go viral, but ever since then, now people are expecting you to post on a regular basis.
Yeah.
With your voiceovers. I know you've done Sham God. You did one on me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You've done some really, you do like great college games. You're a real basketball student, B.
Yeah.
Like I know as you say basketball tutor, but like you like a student as well, because
right.
You dissect. I see you like you be really studying like the game.
Yeah. That just comes from our era, man. Like watching like a guy like Sham God, watching his moves. You had to record everything on the VHS tape for the game, and then you're sitting there rewinding it and going back and rewinding it and going back. I was one of those guys, man. I had a bunch of VHS tapes, CDs, DVDs, and whatnot. And I used to really study guys, man, and try to incorporate some of their game into my game. I come from that school. But to answer your question,
no, go ahead.
I think it was I made a video about a little Asian girl that I found from China, and if you look in her neighborhood, it looks like she's in the projects. Like, you know what I mean? There's like buildings behind her. I didn't realize there was this whole like kind of scene in China with street ball. And this girl is doing like all types of Kyrie moves, man. Like, jellies, 360 jelly, splitting her legs open like Jordan with the Jordan pose. And I'm just like, like that was a video I didn't expect to get that much feedback. It was just on some fun type of thing. But I think they're really taking the game to the next level over there, man.
Well, let me share my brother Jerry Erasmi, who I grew up with. And really, I patterned my game after him. He worked for Nike. Started in '93. He was in charge of NYC basketball marketing. He eventually moved to China and took over the entire department there. And in his first year, he hit me up. He said, "Yo, Bob, there's like 320 million registered basketball players in this country. And I was like, yo, my brother, like the population in the United States is like 310, 315. So you mean to tell me there's more ball players in China than there are people in the United States? He was like, affirmative.
Wow.
So, and this is like, you know, over 20 years ago. And so that's why I tell people, like, you know, basketball is the number one participatory sport in the world right now, right?
Right.
And it hasn't even reached its potential.
Right.
You know, when you think about Brazil and India and China and the development in those three countries and, you know, and the massive populations, and then you think about, you know, just how the game continues to evolve here in the United States and Europe with all the players coming over in South America and, you know, the Caribbean, and, you know, and beyond. Like, yo, like basketball, so you might have like 4 million viewers, you know, followers in the next year. I mean, it could just continue to explode at a rate that we just can't imagine. You know,
absolutely.
It's really it's mind blowing.
Full circle moment with the Jerry Erasmi drop there. That's who I worked under at Nike when I went to China in 2006. So I saw.
Oh,
that.
You were there.
I was there. I saw it up close. So, you know,
right. You did the camps.
I did the camps. Old friend Paul Rivera and that whole crew of New York City guys, Mike Campbell, Raphael Edwards. And I'm on that trip, 32 days in China. Wow. And this summer will be 20 years ago. Life-changing experience. And to Bob's point, like mesmerized by the passion and the interest around the game. And that's 20 years ago. That was the whole strategy there, and credit the OG, your man Jerry. It was 2 years before the Beijing Olympics. So that was all about the lead up and building that excitement 2 years before. And you know, I did have a camera rolling for part of that, like handheld. There would be a hilarious mini doc to make if we could ever get the footage that Nike shot. Which I tried to. It's somewhere in that Wyden and Kennedy warehouse,
no doubt,
in the Pacific Northwest. But unbelievable experience doing that, and yeah, to Bob's point, I mean, hundreds of millions of people just in that country, and I can't even imagine. And Bob, you've talked about this before. Other locations in that part of the world, the Far East, they're basketball crazed just like we are. So it's pretty immeasurable.
Yeah. Yo, Vaughn, there's a couple of like basketball freestylers out of Japan. That will blow your mind, bro. Like they're so creative with it. Like there's one kid, he just became a Harlem Globetrotter from Japan. He's the first. Yeah, I'm blanking on his name. I think it might be White55 is his Instagram handle. But he became the first Harlem Globetrotter, first Japanese born and raised Harlem Globetrotter. And then Eric, help me out. I know that there's a few Japanese players in the NBA right now, right? Like 2 from Japan. I know there's a kid on the Lakers.
Yes, I would have to. I will fact check that for us.
All right, cool. Yeah, but you know, the development out of Asia is definitely lovely. But Vaughn, back to you. So what? You know, clearly you're a student, but you know how are you? Like, I'm sure people ask you this all the time. Like, you nice, B? Like, you watch the Shamgar tapes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ever share somebody out of frame and then you ran out of bounds? Like, what's good, B? Like, what's your highlights? What's your story? You know? Do you show up to asking for next with a scarf on? Like, yo, who got next?
Yeah. It's just always been a part of the culture for me, man. Like, you know, growing up, I grew up, a lot of my elementary school was in Yonkers. And I was probably part of that Rough Rider crew. You know, they got like hundreds of bikes out there. We were all on regular, you know, pedal bikes. We would ride around and try to find bike parts and put bikes together. And then the next thing you know, there's like 60 of us in a crew. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Doing wheelies down Riverdale. And, you know, so, you know, and part of the thing we did every day was play basketball, you know? So that's kind of where it started. High school, I played freshman at New Rochelle High School. I played JV. Then I transferred to Iona Prep. I played A for a little while, but me and the coach didn't get along. So I
Yeah.
wound up playing varsity B for Frank Conroy. And he's pretty popular in Westchester.
So what happened? You did a sham guard in the game, and the coach subbed you out. Like, what are you trying to do these playground moves out
Yeah,
here?
I was a little fancy, man, but it was a little deeper than that. I don't know if you heard about Iona Prep. It got a little sensitive, you know. An issue came up. I wasn't really feeling a coach like that, man. Iona Prep has like a little, you know, how would I say, a reputation of a little racism going on up in there. And then
Okay,
there was a meeting.
not surprising.
Yeah, the coach brought all of us black kids in the office out of the team. And he's like, I'm just going to let you guys know now. Victor Corollo was his name. He's like, I'm going to let you guys know now. You're not going to get that much playing time. And this was my senior year. I had to, being that I transferred from New Rochelle High School to Iona Prep, they made me wait a year. It was different back then. You couldn't just transfer and play. You had to wait.
Yeah.
So it was my senior year. I already knew I was going to Buffalo State. I had went to 5-star basketball camp. That's where I seen the sham guy crazy at. When I went to 5-star basketball camp, like everybody.
You were there the same time as Shamgar?
I was there the same time as my man from Rice, the little short.
Andre Barrett?
Yeah, Andre Barrett was there. Jason Williams was there. Our test was actually a counselor.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was he making you do push-ups and carry his lunch tray?
He like had his McDonald's All-American suit on, like half zipped up, and he was so cool. He would just be like dribbling around, like all sloppy all the time. Like I thought he was a bum, honestly. Because he was just all sloppy, dribbling with his McDonald's uniform on. I'm like, this guy can't even play. Yeah, but then I think he played during a counselor game or something like that, and you know, I didn't really know who he was when I first saw him. Honestly, he was still in high school. All these guys were still in high school. I knew more about him when he went to St. John's.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, so then back to Iona Prep. Yeah, so I ended up I didn't get along with that guy really well. I was really turned off by that meeting. He brought us all into only the black kids in the team. He brought us all into the office. And he says, you know, I'm just going to let you guys know now you're not going to get that much playing time. You know, it was my senior year. I just wanted to play. I had went through, you know, the transfer situation. So I really played for Frank Conroy. I was a real street ball guy. You know what I mean? He actually taught me plays, like how to run plays. And you know what I mean? It took me a second to get it, but once I got it, I was pretty good. You know what I mean? Then I went to Buffalo State. I got recruited by Coach Ross and Krabby. I don't know if you heard of those guys.
Krabby, yeah. He's another Westchester guy, right?
Yeah. He's coaching New Rochelle High School now, but I got recruited by them.
He played pro overseas, and I think he played at Buffalo State
or University of Buffalo.
University of Buffalo, yeah.
Coach there.
Yeah, Eric, just for reference, Krabby is in the same era as Mike Campbell and Raphael Edwards, one of the top guards in the city. No matter what tournament he was in, Hoops in the Sun, Pro City, West Fourth, it didn't matter. Like Krabby was getting numbers, and you know, definitely like someone you had to like reckon with. Like, oh man, Krabby's on the other side. Like, you know, like dang, he had a nice game.
Krabby was that guy from New Row. But I got recruited by his brother, Coach Ross. And then I stayed at Buffalo State for 2 years. Great experience. That's when N1 Mixtape came out. So we were like...
So the coaches again... Vaughn, what are you doing? Dribble between your legs 5 times, get on the bench!
Yeah, everything. You had to cross somebody, you know what I mean? It was got real fancy around that time. So... we were definitely getting reprimanded for that. But then I played at Buffalo State 2 years, and then I tried to transfer to Arizona State. It didn't work out, but I had a really good time. It was just too much for me. I couldn't handle Arizona, man. It was palm trees, mountains, swimming pools, weather's warm every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So But that's pretty much my basketball story, man. You know, at the end of that Arizona State, I came home, you know, started working and whatnot.
Got you.
Yeah.
What years were you at Buff State?
98, 99.
That's crazy. I played football at Ithaca during those years, and we played Buff State. We played Buff State every year. They were a rival of ours. So, yeah, alternated each year at Buff State at Ithaca. That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah. That football team was probably more popular than the basketball team.
Yeah, they were good. We had some real tough games. Real tough games against them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just looking at all the content gold you've put together on your page, I really enjoy the matchup videos. And one of the ones that I really enjoyed watching, you know, we're recording this the week after the NCAA National Championship, but you put a Marbury, Georgia Tech, Tim Duncan, Wake Forest vid up there, and I think it's got to be 96 because Marbury's in the 96 draft. Duncan already looks like he's a 4-year pro in the video. So when did you first ideate the matchup concept to go back to just a matchup within a game and present it like that? Because I think that's definitely, there's a lot of highlights on your page. That's one of them.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it kind of happened organically, man. You know, going back looking for content, and it was like, you know I like Marbury. I love Marbury, and I'm like, man, I want to get somebody he played against that, you know, people are gonna like too. I don't want to have him where he's got like 40 points, but he played against nobody. There's nobody on the other team. You know what I mean? So I try to find games where there's like 2 star players that people are gonna gravitate to. You know what I mean? It just makes it that much more exciting because, you know, I could find your highest scoring game, and you might have had 50, but if you're not playing against nobody, it doesn't have the same effect to it. So that's why I kind of started doing the matchup videos. So because it's like, you know, now you got 2 people that the audience is really seeking or really checking for, and then you got the players around them too. You know, some of their teammates that we might have not have liked as much, but somebody from their hometown or somebody from that area might have liked. You know you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of happened like organically, man. You know, I try not to put myself in a box where I'm only doing one type of thing. You know, like I'm only doing, you know, college games, or I'm only doing, you know, it's like kind of whatever I feel. You know what I mean? Whatever I feel, whatever kind of hits me on a soul level. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of put the stuff out there.
And so, where did you tape that game yourself on VHS back in the '90s, or you're sourcing other archives?
YouTube.
Got you. Okay.
And then I'm trying to, you know, make the definition of the quality a little better during the editing process.
No doubt. So you're like you're like a real, like, you're a producer, bro. Like you do a color correction, sound correction, like sound mixing.
Yeah,
I love it, bro.
Yeah,
you studied how to you know, edit and film, or this is just you
from doing
working
it for so long. I just got good at it. I started off with my oldest son, the original Hezzy guy. I started with him. I was filming all this. I was that parent that did a little bit too much, man. Honestly, I was like at every practice, every game, filming all these games. You know what I mean? Working them out, training, and I just got good at the editing during the process. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Yeah.
So there's two players whose videos I watched last night who you put together great material on, and they're of our era and generation, and I feel they get lost historically with just how great they were. So I would like to introduce them one at a time and just have a quick little 3-man weave about each one of them. So the first one is the great Isiah Thomas.
Oh yeah.
And he is often overlooked in this greatest of all time point guard conversation. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because this dream team narrative got blown out of proportion, but can we celebrate the greatness of two-time NBA champion, 1981 national champion, basketball Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas?
Yeah, people sleep on that guy, man. People sleep on Isiah Thomas. I don't know what it is. Maybe the Jordan thing, or when he walked off the court, I think he just has like a bad boy rep. It didn't it didn't age well, but he was just so skilled, man. Like you just watch him play. The handles was crazy, even his shot, the passing. So I appreciate talent, man. I don't care what kind of reputation or whatever. You know what I mean? I respect his talent. So I was a young guy when he was playing, man. I had to probably been about 4 or 5 years old. I'm 45 now, but I was young. I didn't really appreciate him like that while he was playing. But as I got older and I go back and look, it's like, bro, you could barely find cats playing like that these days. You know what I mean? It's like a lost art.
So Eric, I'm curious about. I see, like I'm almost 60, right? So for my generation, I'm older than both of y'all. Like Isiah is not overlooked whatsoever. Like Isiah is absolutely worshipped and on a pedestal because, he was also on a national team, which was spanking, crews left and right. I mean, there was a contest between Puerto Rico. I don't know if it was in 79 or 80, but basically PR was like beating the US. And then, Isiah was subbed in and he like dropped 20 in like, however many minutes, and just completely changed the course of the game. And it was like not looking back. So, even when he was in college, he was a phenom. I mean, he was a high school phenom. I don't remember him in high school because he's older than me, but yeah, I don't see Isiah being overlooked whatsoever. I think, perhaps, if you're a certain age and then he doesn't be on a dream team, and the dream team is what introduces the game to Europe and to Asia and to Latin America, because of all the hoopla about it, and him not being a part of that, maybe for people of that generation now, it's like, oh, like they're not thinking about Isiah in that way. And then, he's got the blemish when he's in the Knicks brass of the allegations, or perhaps, the violations. And also the Knicks weren't doing well when he was. So it's like he comes down a notch. Like if you're younger and you're thinking of Isiah Thomas, you're not thinking of him as this amazing player. You're thinking of him like, yo, the Knicks sucked when he was, in charge of the players. So I think it's just an age thing. This is the first time I'm ever hearing somebody say like Isiah was overlooked. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, definitely.
Well, let me rephrase. I think he's overlooked by. I'm 47, so I think he's overlooked by the generations younger than me. And whenever these convos are going on around the lists and the rankings, and you get out of that top 10 or 15 players of all time, and then obviously if you're doing a top 25 of all time, or a top 25 since the NBA ABA merger, there's a lot of names that qualify to be in that conversation. And while he's obviously celebrated as a two-time champion and was such a great team leader, I don't think people understand the full scope of the talent and the bucket getter and dynamic player that he was before they reached title contention, because he had to change his game and he had to make everybody happy around him. And obviously acquiring players like Joe Dumars, and they had Adrian Dantley, who became then Mark Aguirre in a trade, and Lambeer and Rodman and Sally and everybody else. And Isiah was the glue. But when he was trying to carry that team with less talent, I mean, he was unbelievable. He was absolutely unbelievable.
No doubt. I mean, Iverson will always be looked at for your, if you're born in the 70s, 80s, right? Like Iverson is like that dude who's like the greatest small guard in NBA history, right? Yeah. But if you're like me, born in the 60s, like you don't necessarily that doesn't roll off my tongue without contention, you know, because I saw Isiah. I watched Isiah. Like I saw him play. So, yeah, for sure.
And
It's
before Isiah was Tiny Archibald. So, you know,
right, exactly. So if you're born in the 50s and you saw Isiah, I mean, Nate in the 70s, 60s, 70s, you're like, there's no even comparison. But, you know, Nate's career was short because of injuries, you know, or shortened. You know, Isiah had like a long career, you know. Iverson had a long career, you know.
Yeah, so. No, Nate had a 12-year career, but parts of it were sidelined due to injury. And I'm going to make a request. I bet you've never gotten this request before. Can we get a Nate Archibald Mo Cheeks mixtape?
Okay, yeah, I could do that.
I don't think they're the same era though. Mo comes like at least
they battled Celtics Sixers in the playoffs in the early 80s.
No doubt. But I mean, Nate wasn't Nate. Nate came
Nate came first. Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying Tiny was older than he was when he led the Celtics to that championship. Like, you know, I mean, not led them, but you know, part of the squad. Like as a PG, like his knees weren't like he wasn't doing the going to the rack, getting the body bump. You know, that wasn't his game anymore. But that shows you how great Nate Archibald was because he wasn't even at 100% and still was the starting point guard for a championship squad.
All-star. Still an all-star. I remember watching those battles on the NBA entertainment tapes and just be like, wow, these guys are going at it. And the stuff's on YouTube too. Okay, second name. And I always cite this player when the conversation comes up. Who's the best in-game dunker of all time?
Woo.
And this guy gets forgotten every time. It drives me crazy. Dominique Wilkins and the greatness of Neek.
Yeah. Monster athlete, man. Monster athlete. Again, I was a young guy when these guys were playing, man. I'm like 6, 7 years old. So I could, you know what I mean? I didn't really appreciate it back then, but watching it, you know, as I got older, yo, his hops were just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Eric, I'm sure you probably winced more than 100 times when Dominique would just be spanking the Celtics. I know that's your squad.
Those were great battles. Fortunately, the Celtics never lost the series to them, but Dominique
No, definitely not. But Dominique would just absolutely embarrass like
anybody in his way. Didn't matter who it was. Bird, McHale, Chief, didn't matter. I mean, and it's
so much power, man.
Yeah, he dunked angry.
Yeah,
and he dunked angry.
Yeah,
and there are in-game dunks where he's catching 2-3 bodies at a time. There's a dunk that I'll pull up and put with this convo. He takes on the entire Milwaukee Bucks team. This is like 83, 84. Lanier is still out there and a bunch of just, you know, 6'10" guys.
Paul McKeskey.
Your man Paul McKeskey's out there. And he just spins baseline, but he does a double pump in the air, takes body contact, and then everybody's on the way down. He's still up there. And
he's still going up.
And hammering dunks. And, you know, obviously one of the great, as a Celtics fan, one of the great memories of my childhood was that Game 7 duel with him and Larry Bird going at it in 1988. Neek finishes the game with 47 points in Game 7, and Bird scores 20 in the fourth, and they're going bucket for bucket back and forth to move on to the conference finals, where ironically Isiah Thomas and the Pistons are waiting. The Celtics prevail, but it's one of the great duels, and that's the closest Neek ever got to a conference final deep in the playoffs. You know, Dominique's biggest problem was the timing of his career and where he ended up. He could have been a Laker. The Lakers drafted James Worthy. Dominique goes to the Hawks, and he gets selected by the Hawks in 1982, and that's obviously when Dr. J, Moses Malone, Mo Cheeks, and the Sixers are about to have their monster championship season. The Celtics already have a ring, and the Celtics are getting ready to take over the East. So Dominique leads the NBA in scoring in 1986. He wins a pair of dunk contests as well, and obviously has the incredible dunk contest duel with Michael Jordan in Chicago Stadium in '88 too. So shout out to Dominique, the human highlight reel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let me add, because he played at the University of Georgia, and even back then he was the human highlight film. What was interesting for me with Dominique in that era was that if we think about the like illest high jumpers from the 70s, you think Julius Erving, David Thompson, right? And they both jump off of 1 foot. Dominique, though, with all this like gather foot conversations now, Dominique would take his gather, take his 1 step, and then he would land on 2, right? And then jump up, which was legal, still legal.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of people weren't doing that. So when you think about Julius, you think about jumping off of 1 foot and kind of like, avoiding contact because of how fluid he was and how jazzy he was, right? That's and David Thompson, you think of like him just going over people.
Yeah.
But to your point, Eric, Dominique, because he jumped off a 2 and had the same vert as anybody else, he was able to go into a 300-pound, 6'10" body and hit the bump and then still catch a windmill. It wasn't just he just got the bump and caught a dunk. He'd be like bump and then like you know what I'm saying. And people weren't used to that. Barkley was a phenomenal dunker in that era too. Mostly off 2-hand dunks. But Dominique was 2-hand or 1-hand, and just Barkley didn't really cuff it back. Dominique would, it's like he was stretching his shoulder. Like, let me stretch my shoulder back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Dominique is. It's almost like vicious, like you said. Like he had hatred against other people that he was trying to like process. Maybe that was like his therapy sessions. It's like
and he had a jumper, and he could post up.
So the other point I want to make about the greatness of Dominique Wilkins for the era, right? Vaughn and Eric, tell me your favorite 3 dunkers for late 70s, early 80s.
Late 70s. Well, I got to throw Jordan in there. Dr. J.
Dr. J, Jordan. Yeah. Okay, who else?
Early 80s.
Eric? Huh?
You said 80s?
Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Eric,
pre-Jordan.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, Jordan comes 80-45. We can include him. That's fine.
But I always heard about him, the GOAT.
Earl Manigault. Okay, all right.
But I never.
Dr. Duncanstein, Darryl Griffith.
Okay, cool, amazing. All right, so let's take
Thompson.
all those. Let's include Jordan. Right, let's include Jordan. Now, you think about Dominique's power dunks, but if we go to his jump shot, right?
Yeah.
Like, he had a better jump shot than Julius Erving.
Yeah.
David Thompson's jump shot, I don't really recall that well, right? Jordan's jump shot is almost as perfect as we can imagine. But if you talk about the height of Dominique's vertical on his jump shot before he's releasing, right? It's really like him and Dale Ellis. I don't know if you remember Dale Ellis. He played for the Seattle Supersonics. But as a kid, I would bug out at how high these dudes were off the ground before they released. I would put World Be Free in that conversation too, about just like if you look at photos and see where their feet are off the ground before they're even releasing the jump shot, it's incomparable. Incomparable.
Who you could compare that to today? Zach LaVine. I don't know if you ever seen Zach LaVine shoot his 3. He's okay. That jumps that high like that. Where he's if you like level, I think one shot they like leveled his hand to the rim. He was like over the rim shooting a 3. It was crazy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. It's just little nuances like that I think, again, we're talking about forgotten or underappreciated I think Dominique's jump shot was absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I never saw anybody block Dominique's jump shot. He basically shot whenever he wanted to, you know. And it wasn't even like it was a contest, because you couldn't contest because you couldn't jump that high to defend.
I heard that he used to really spread his fingers wide too before his jump shot. Dominique, I forgot who told me that, but I heard that he like really spread his hands wide on the ball.
Okay, amazing. All right, I think we have run out of time. Vaughn, thank you so much for just joining me and Eric to just kick it about basketball, man. Continued success with the Zoo Team. Oh, we didn't get to ask you why you changed from basketball tutor to Zoo Team.
Yeah, basketball tutor was just me, myself as an entity, a trainer. I started that business as a personal training business. And it kind of morphed as I went into ZuTeam. I started changing my career up a little bit, and I wanted to focus more on the marketing and things like that with ZuTeam. So Zoo actually stands for Zen Universe. Zen Universe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And or you could kind of, zoo, like the animals in the zoo, like on some crazy, you know what I mean? The kind of two word play thing going on there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where the name change came in. So instead of me like making the name for myself, I wanted people to feel like they could be a part of something and they could be a part of it too. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So that's why I put the team at the end, Zoo Team, Zen Universe though.
Dope, my brother. Thank you so much for joining me and Eric on B-Ball Radio. Eric, take us out.
You've been listening to B-Ball Radio. Shout out to the Zoo Team, Bobbito, Garcia, Eric Newman. Catch you on the next episode. Peace.
The essence of basketball. I don't know if you can be a basketball player without experience.
B-Ball Radio.